Y News with William Theo and Angelo Castro III.
Good evening. There is still no report as to where the missing Filipina caregiver is, who Taiwan authorities say was among the 4 nationals affected by the recent earthquake in Taiwan. Amiel Pascual is in Hualien County in Taiwan to tell us why live. Amiel Pascual is in Hualien Country in Taiwan to tell us why live. Yes, good evening, Amiel.
Yes, William, as you can see behind me, rescue workers are racing against time to search for survivors because there are still around 88 missing from the powerful quake that hit Hualien County last night. This building behind me is the Yunmei Tueti, and according to authorities, there are still 88 people unaccounted for from that building, and mostly are residents, and some are guests from a guest house on the 1st until the 3rd floor. But still, the Filipina caregiver, who was reported by the Manila Economic and Culture Office, or MECO, is missing, remains nowhere to be found.
So far, isa pa lamang Pilipina ang na-identify as missing, no? Kasi dun sa building na nagkaroon ng na-damage, hindi siya makita ngayon. Missing siya, pero hindi naman natin masabi kung nangyari o kaya siya na-injure, no? Tinitingnan din ngayon ng mga ospital, pero wala rin siya doon sa ospital so far. So baka naman umalis lang doon sa building at nagpunta sa kaibigan o something. Hindi natin masabi sa ngayon.
And we will get back to Amiel Pascual in Hualien County in Taiwan later on for more updates. Meanwhile, Malacanang downplays the reports of rice crisis in the country. However, concerns of an increase in the price of commercial rice continue to escalate. Rajel Adora will tell us why.
It has been 2 weeks that even authorized NFA outlets in Muñoz Market in Quezon City have no NFA rice to sell. This prompts many consumers to buy commercial rice instead. And when there is no more cheaper rice available, the demand for commercial rice increases, which will also result in a price hike.
Pagka puro commercial lang, siyempre aasahan na natin pagtaas nun, lalo na hindi naman anihan ngayon.
National Food Authority Administrator Jason Aquino and the Grains Retailers Confederation of the Philippines say that if such will be the case, the increase will be imminent.
Taking out NFA, saan pupunta itong DA class? Pupunta sila rito sa commercial rice kasi lahat tayo kumakain na kanin. Yeah?
Talagang tataas na talaga because the world market states, yun na talaga ang presyo, landed cost.
The NFA, however, asserts that it was not remiss on its duty. Aquino adds that they have been recommending the importation of rice to augment its dwindling supply.
We already requested for an authority to import 250,000 metric tons of rice to be able to continuously sustain our food security and stabilization mandate. Unfortunately, the approval to do so has not been given until now. Hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa ng President, but we have submitted already our proposal, our recommendation.
To date, the NFA only has in its stock 1.2 million bags of rice for nationwide consumption that will only be good for 2 days' supply. Meanwhile, the Senate wants to conduct an investigation on the crisis in the supply of NFA rice.
We want to find out bakit nagkakaproblema sa kanilang stock kasi there are 2 ways by which they can buy stock.
The Malacanang, on the other hand, allays concerns of rice crisis in the country.
Well, unang-una po, ang nauubos ay NSA rice. Hindi naman po ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng kakulangan sa bigas sa Pilipinas. Marami pong mga commercial rice at iba pang mga rice na nasa merkado. So, kapag sinabi po na may pagkakakulang, yun lang po yun sa NFA rice. Meron namang standby authority to import ng 250,000 metric tons of rice.
Rogel Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
In other news, the parents of the children who were vaccinated with Dengvaxia flocked to the Department of Health today. The department, in the meantime, assures that children vaccinated with Dengvaxia will be able to receive free medical treatment in all hospitals across the country. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Around 50 parents and their children flocked to the Department of Health seeking for protection and medical assistance from the government. They claim that it has become a big concern on their part whenever health centers and hospitals refuse to admit and treat their children.
Hinihiling namin yung talagang medical assistant. Kung sakaling magkaroon sila, wala pa naman sintomas yung anak ko, pero kung sakaling magkaroon ng sintomas, na ma-guide kami.
Adding to their worries, they say, are the seeming contradicting statements by the experts regarding the Dengvaxia issue.
Aalarma po ako bilang nanay na magkaganon yung mga bata. Yun lang po, naawa lang din ako sa mga naanuhan ko, nababalitaan.
DOH officials face the parents and assuage their concerns. Assistant Secretary Maria Francia Laksamana says hospitals and health centers should not refuse them admission because Secretary Francisco Duque III has already issued a directive to all healthcare facilities to attend to and treat all the children who have been vaccinated with Dengvaxia whenever they need medical attention.
Kung may ospital, may tao na nagtanggi sa inyo at sasabihin natin, porket kami mahirap, tinanggihan kami. Please lang, pwede po ba ibigay nyo sa amin ng mga pangalan? Bigay nyo sa amin ng mga ospital kasi kami mismo sasabihin namin kay Presidente kung kailan tanggalin sila.
The DOH reiterates that the medical services for these children are free of charge. Aside from the PhilHealth coverage, the DOH has allotted adequate funds for the said medical assistance.
For non-PhilHealth naman, yun nga yung sinasabi kong point of care. Antimano, i-enroll sila ng hospital sa PhilHealth. With that, mako-cover siya kaagad ng PhilHealth. And aside from that, mako-cover pa rin siya ng medical assistance program ng Department of Health.
The DOH also reminds the parents to secure immunization cards for their children. This is to validate the children's information and to have them included in the database being drafted for the department's 5-year monitoring of the health condition of the Dengvaxia vaccinees. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Department of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and Public Attorney's Office Chief Persida Acosta are blaming each other for having separate investigations on the Dengvaxia controversy. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Public Attorney's Office has not been cooperating in the investigation being conducted by the University of the Philippines PGH experts on the Dengvaxia issue. According to Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, they had sent letters to the office of the PAO chief but has not received any response on the matter.
She's not. We wrote her, si Yusek Eric Domingo has written letters to them, but there is no response.
DOH wants the PAO to turn over to the expert panel the tissues they have gathered from the remains of the children who allegedly died because of Dengvaxia.
So yung mga tissues o yung mga autopsy results, kailangan gamitin yon kasama yung mga clinical audit, medical report audit na ginawa ng expert panel ng UPPGH at magkaroon ng complementation. Hindi yung pinaglalaban.
Acosta, however, denies the allegation. In PAO Chief's text message, she said they have responded to the letters sent to them by the DOH. She adds that she also asked the department to provide a master list of those who have undergone vaccination. Acosta also says the DOH is the agency being questioned in this issue, and them not providing DEPAO the master list created the seeming misunderstanding in which Duque responds.
As a Senate Blue Ribbon Committee na yung listahan, validated 82% as of 2 weeks ago.
PAO Chief Acosta and forensic expert Dr. Erwin Erfe are both expected to attend the next Senate probe on Dengvaxia. Nel Maribho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, or VACC, is preparing the charges it will file against Sanofi Pasteur, the manufacturer of Dengvaxia vaccine, and against Wilig Pharma Corporation, the distributor of Dengvaxia in the Philippines. VACC says it is clear that the two companies are involved in pushing through with the vaccination program on Filipino children despite insufficient clinical trials made on the anti-dengue vaccine.
In every meeting of the task forces, mayroon silang representatives before the procurement of the vaccine, kasama sila sa mga meetings, and we have this the minutes of the meetings. Religiously attending this meeting, the co-conspirator sila sa pag-introduce ng Dengvaxia vaccine itong Sanofi.
The Commission on Appointments approves the appointment of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III. The secretary, however, became emotional when the committee tackled the issue on Dengvaxia. Here's why from Nel Maribho.
Is there any objection? Okay, there being none, the motion is approved. Congratulations, sir.
After 2 hearings, majority of the members of the Commission on Appointments approved the appointment of Secretary Francisco Duque III in the Department of Health. But before the CA ruling, the Secretary faced some issues in the agency. The Secretary has gotten emotional when the committee tackled the issue on Dengvaxia. According to the Secretary, the agency is struggling in the issue.
Now that we have so much budget, we have so I think we need to recapture the glorious days, if you don't mind, of the DOH then, and we hope that we will be able to motivate and inspire our people.
The Secretary was also asked regarding the issue of overstocking of medicines and vaccines, the implementation of reproductive health, and PhilHealth's financial problems.
The reserve funds of PhilHealth has gone down from 24 months to 10.5 months.
The Secretary expressed gratitude with the trust given to him with the approval of his ad interim appointment.
Hopefully, this will be a boost to the entire department. I dedicate and share the confirmation to everyone in the Department of Health.
Meanwhile, Malacanang expressed confidence that with Secretary Duque's confirmation, he will now able to resolve the issue on Dengvaxia head-on.
Pati po ang Malacanang na with Secretary Duque at the help of the DOH, lahat po natin mga problema, lalo na dito sa Dengvaxia, ay mabibigyan po ng tamang solusyon.
Duque was also appointed as Health Secretary last June 2005 to January 2010 under the Arroyo administration. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
PHIVOLCS cannot yet tell when to downgrade the alert level in Albay. Meanwhile, some evacuees make ways to earn a living in evacuation centers. May Bermudas will tell us why.
Vending inside evacuation centers is one of the ways residents take to fill in the alleged lack in relief items they are receiving. Most often, each family receives 3 kilos of rice, 2 cans of sardines, and 2 packs of noodles from the provincial government. Yolanda Minya, who has 8 children, exerts extra effort to prepare banana skewers she is about to sell to earn even a small amount of money.
Kung tutusin, ma'am, sa pang-araw-araw na buhay, hindi. Kasi hindi katatagal ng araw at gabi, sardinas ang iuulam mo.
Delia Balisnomo from Barangay Buyuan, meanwhile, built her own small store outside the classroom where she is staying.
Kahit naman binibigyan nila ng alimbawa, bigas kami, hindi naman pwedeng yun lang.
For the Provincial Social Welfare and Development, supplies are enough for the evacuees in Albay.
Since nga po,
nagbigay ang DSWD sa amin. Nag-augment siya last January 16 pa. So, agad po namin ibinigay yun sa mga munisipyo. Meron po kaming list kung sino yung mga beneficiaries.
Meanwhile, FIVOC still finds it difficult to determine when to downgrade alert level of Mayon because of changes in parameters. The slowdown in its activity does not necessarily mean there is silence in Mount Mayon.
Yung sinasabing quiet, wala lang explosion kasi yun eh. Pero continuous ang eruption. So hindi naman ang huminto sa eruption yung Mayon. Ang lang doon, yung mga explosions na nangyayari doon sa higher fountaining ng lava.
From 53.5 million cubic meters last Monday, now Mayon volcano's emitted deposits have reached 67 million cubic meters. This means there is an expected 13 million cubic meters of deposits that was supposed to be emitted, such as ashes, lava, and pyroclastic materials. May Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Legazpi, Albay.
The Provincial Veterinary Service gives food for abandoned pets left inside Mount Mayon's danger zone. Monokson will tell us why.
Brave and defiant. These are the kind of dogs we saw in Barangay Masarawag in Ginobatan, Albay. These dogs were left alone since the provincial government implemented forced evacuation in the area. Dogs, however, are not allowed in evacuation centers. Chris Marie often go home because she is worried about her pets.
Kung pwede nga lang silang isama, lagi ko nga silang naiisip, kaya minsan araw-araw ako nagmumotor, papakainin ko lang sila.
Not all have the capacity to go home often like Chris Marie. As an assistance, the Provincial Veterinary Service or PVS gives food to the dogs left in barangays included in Mount Mayon's danger zone. Dog food po. PVS plans to feed the dogs for 2 weeks more. The dog food come from donations.
Walang nagpapakain doon po sa mga alaga po nilang hayop. Ang ginagawa po natin, bali tayo nang pupunta mismo doon para magpakain dito sa kanilang mga babahay.
PVS says a number of dogs has already died, especially those inside the 6-kilometer danger zone because of the ash spewed by the volcano. Hil Kamasis, PVS Livestock Coordinator in Gunubatan, says like humans, the lives of animals such as dogs are important to them. That is why they continue to call for those who want to help the abandoned pets. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Ginubatan, Albay.
There is no movement in the prices of vegetables in Benguet despite a continuous drop in temperature. Here's why from Joannano.
Cabbage, carrots, potatoes, and other crops in Paway Atok in Benguet are all covered with frost. Still, farmers say the prices of their vegetable remains the same. Vegetable traders say this is the first time that andap or vegetable frost is seen affecting their vegetables at this time of the year. This is because last year, vegetable frost was experienced in December and not in February. They also observed that frost melts easily this year. This does not worry the farmers.
Wala pa namang reported damages kasi yung area naman kung saan naaandap, nag-occur yung frost, alam na ng farmers na every year naaandap yung area na yun, kaya hindi na nila tinatamnan.
Nevertheless, some farmers admit that though their crops were not totally damaged, the frost definitely impact the quality of their produce.
Maapiktaran na tag seeking class no maandap, isang awanin day first class, no kaspagrigan sa ngapulo kuma. Kat napintas ti repolyo no nag-andap na tamaan na ulo na awan. Medyo masiking class nga ko nami. Agbalin ang 4. 4-3. Day seeking class. Imbis nga first class. Agbalin nga seeking class.
Before the sunrise, farmers usually water the plants so they will not get dry and wither. The lowest temperature recorded in city of Baguio was on January 14 at 11.4 degrees Celsius, which Pag-asa said marked the lowest record this year. Joannano, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, let's now hear live updates from Amiel Pascual regarding the recent earthquake in Taiwan. Amiel?
Yes, William, as I've said, rescue workers are racing against time to search for survivors because there are still around 88 missing from the powerful quake that hit Hualien County last night. This building behind me is the UNTV, and according to authorities, there are still 88 people unaccounted for from that building, mostly are residents. But still, the Filipina caregiver who was reported by the Manila Economic and Cultural Office or MECO is missing, remains nowhere to be found. Based on today's statement by Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a total of 31 foreign nationals have been affected by the powerful earthquake. They were 14 South Koreans, 9 Japanese, 2 Czechs from Czechoslovakia, 2 Singaporeans, and 1 Filipina. Though Manila Economic and Cultural Office or MECO cannot confirm if the person is injured or dead, as there is still no report about her whereabouts. Some of the foreign nationals are in temporary shelters, while some are still recovering at hospitals here in Hualien. The injuries range from wrist and foot injuries to dry powder inhalation. MOFA did not clarify if these foreign nationals were still at the partially collapsed Marshall Hotel or at UNTV commercial residential building. That was a small backpackers hotel when the earthquake happened. Hualien Mayor Fu Kun-chi said rescue team needed a break through the collapsed floors in good time to try to save the people who are believed to be trapped. Meanwhile, in her visit this morning, President Tsai Ing-wen said that the priority at this stage is rescuing those still trapped inside the buildings, and she added that the Taiwan central government would do everything it can to support the rescue efforts. William, as of these hours, only 1 Filipino is confirmed missing, though we still stay for updates. According to the National Immigration Agency, there are about 1,500 Filipinos living and working here in Hualien. And as you can see, it is a tedious task to search for missing because rescue workers have to enter each floor of severely tilted buildings which can collapse at any moment with only a slight aftershock. William?
Yes, thank you very much, Amiel Pascual, live from Hualien County, Taiwan, for those updates.
Next on Y News. House Committee orders BIR to check on Chief Justice Sereno's income tax returns since she entered government service. And more than 200 former rebels visit President Rodrigo Duterte in Malacanang today. Y News will be right back. The House Impeachment Committee has tasked the Bureau of Internal Revenue to check on the income tax returns of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno since she entered government service. Here's why from Joan Nano.
The lower house wants to check if Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno has hidden wealth, which can be a ground for impeachment. The House Committee on Justice has given the Bureau of Internal Revenue until February 19 to finish its investigation on the matter. During the impeachment hearing today, the committee tackled Sereno's alleged failure to submit her Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth or SALN for her 15 years of working as a professor at the University of the Philippines. The law states that once a government official or employee fails to submit his or her SALN, he or she will face imprisonment of up to 5 years and fine of up to 5,000 pesos. It can be recalled that such offense was the cause of impeachment of former Chief Justice Renato Corona.
An investigation is the proper mode of obtaining all of this information in a comprehensive manner.
We can do the formal investigation so that we can assess whether or not there was under-declaration or non-declaration of income.
In today's hearing, the House Committee confronts Attorney Michael Ocampo of the Office of the Chief Justice to justify the SC's need to hire an IT consultant. They were referring to Helen Macasaet, who Sereno hired and paid a monthly salary of 250,000 pesos. Ocampo said Sereno chose Macasaet because of her skills and expertise in information technology. Macasaet was the one who solved the largest database crisis in GSIS.
I don't receive any allowance or anything from the Supreme Court, unlike most of the employees or officials of the court. So, excluding all those personal expenses which are related to performing my work, I would be getting more or less a net of 80,000 pesos.
The committee targets to finish the probe and release a committee report before the end of this month. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
215 former members of the New People's Army, the armed wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines, had a chance to visit Malacanang and meet and eat with President Rodrigo Duterte this afternoon. This is the first batch of the 683 former rebels from the different parts of eastern Mindanao who toured Manila for 3 days. President Duterte himself promised to bring them to Malacanang to give them better perspective of peace building and nationalism. They also visited Rizal Park and Intramuros and are set to return to Davao City tonight. The next batch of former rebels who will be brought and toured to Manila will be determined by the Appointments Office of the President. An international ocean conservation organization called Oceana Philippines welcomes the cessation of foreign marine research in the Philippine Rise. However, it urges the government to hasten the declaration of a marine reserve in the Philippine Rise. Here's why from Rosalie Cos.
An international ocean conservation and advocacy nonprofit organization, Oceana Philippines, has gathered more than 8,000 signatures supporting their petition to declare the Benham Bank as a no-take zone. Benham Bank is part of the Philippine Rise. The organization targets 10,000 signatures. They appeal to the government to declare Benham Bank as a no-take zone. This means no fishing, mining, or drilling will be allowed in the area or around it to protect the shallowest part of the Philippine Rise, which is also a spawning ground for various kinds of fishes. Oceana says the government's order to stop foreign marine research in the Philippine Rise is a welcome development.
Kailangan mo na may authority talaga nakatutok na wala. If we look at West Philippine Sea, there was no one. It was just the president.
However, Oceana appeals to the government to act on their petition to declare the Benham Bank as a marine reserve. This place should be protected to ensure the country's food security.
The urgent call really is for the president to already issue a proclamation declaring a portion of Philippine Rise recommended by the Biodiversity Management Bureau to be around 2 million hectares as marine reserve, and that includes the very pristine Benham Bank.
Meanwhile, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian says he will submit a proposal to have a Philippine Rice Development Authority. This will be a coordinative and policy-making body with regulating powers to focus on the development, protection, and research in the Philippine rice. The lawmaker says the Congress has already allocated 100 million pesos to the Office of the President for the year 2018 to be utilized in the administration of the Philippine rice. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte has no plans to attend the Asia-Europe Summit in Brussels, Belgium in October. President of the European Union, or EU, Donald Tusk himself invited President Duterte. It can be recalled that President Rodrigo Duterte has lesser interest in the EU after its criticisms against the Philippine government's war on drugs campaign.
For what? Kung tingin ninyo sa akin gano'n noon, why change your assessment of my persona? So what am I supposed to go there? Ask me question? Insultuhin ninyo, ay kayo lahat doon.
Meanwhile, the government believes there will be no more problems in obtaining the third telco player in the country. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Department of Information and Communications Technology Officer in Charge Secretary Eliseo Rio sees no more hindrance in determining the third telecommunications player in the country by the first quarter of the year. This after the official confirmed that PLDT has already agreed to return to the government for free the 3G frequencies which will be used by the incoming third telco player.
Pero ito, ang PLDT as of yesterday willingly binigay na yung frequency at no cost at all. So wala nang issue na ito.
Malacanang says all is well. Yesterday, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said President Rodrigo Duterte was displeased after reports that the government has to buy back the frequencies that will be provided to the third telco player. The chief executive also did not want to extend the target he gave in coming up with a third telco player by March. Malacanang has extended its thanks to PLDT for its immediate action.
The President said that he is thankful for PLDT's cooperation dahil naintindihan naman ng Pangulo at malino sa Pangulo na itong pagkakaroon ng third telecom carrier ay makikinabang ang buong bayan. So nagpasalamat po ang Pangulo dyan.
Secretary Rio says those who are vying to be the third player must at least have 300 billion pesos of committed financial investment for 5 years, have good quality of service, wider coverage in the country, but with lower subscription rate for clients. The private sector is expected to submit its proposal by the end of March or early April. By then, the country's third telco player will be determined. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Department of Transportation pushes for the adoption of a uniform speed limit nationwide. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
In a study conducted by the World Health Organization, 30% of fatal road crashes in the country are due to high-speed driving. This prompts the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, to adopt a uniform speed limit nationwide.
And it is now incumbent in government to remind people to enforce the law, that speeding can kill.
Under a centralized speed limit, vehicles' speed will be limited depending on road classifications and type of vehicles. For example, some national roads and highways call for 60 to 80 kilometers per hour speed limit for cars and similar vehicles and 50 kph for trucks, buses, tricycles, and similar vehicle type. Provincial roads or highways, on the other hand, dictate a 40 km per hour speed limit for cars and similar vehicles, and 30 kph for trucks, buses, tricycles, and the like. Crowded streets like barangay roads direct a 20 km per hour speed for all types of vehicles. Aside from speed cameras, the DOTR also plans to procure speed guns to monitor motorists.
And I think one thing that we should focus also is buying a lot more speed guns. Let's bring in an information campaign. And it doesn't just help telling them the dangers, but really also the advantages of doing it moderately.
Violators will be meted out with fines and penalties depending on the frequency of their speed limit violations. First offense will be meted with a 4-hour seminar on road safety and 500 to 2,000 peso fine. Second offense will be fined 1,000 to 2,500 pesos, a 4-hour seminar on road safety, and a 3-hour community service. The third offense, on the other hand, is applied with stiffer penalties such as fines of 1,500 to 3,000 pesos, impounding a vehicle, and 30 days detention. The DOTR hopes that the said proposal will be approved and implemented in the soonest possible time. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Are you afraid of sharks? In Malaysia, tourists are offered a challenge to dive with one of the ocean's fiercest predators. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
A face-to-face encounter with sand tiger sharks awaits certified divers at the Aquaria found in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Luis Heredia, one of the hosts in UNTV's reality diving show, The Dive, took the challenge of facing this species of sharks which inhabit subtropical and temperate waters. Before the actual dive, a dive master briefed Luis on the do's and don'ts for this kind of dive. His advice: relax, remain calm, and stay alert, because the sharks have a way to sense if your heart is pounding and you are nervous.
I survived the shark dive, believe it or not, my friends. These guys have done their homework, really. The species are in perfect condition. We saw several species of sharks, several species of rays also.
Sand tiger sharks, or greener sharks, have a fearsome appearance but are relatively placid. They can grow up to 10 feet long. Aquaria, an oceanarium, is also home to 5,000 different exhibits of aquatic and land-bound creatures, including the giant grouper, surgeonfish, and stingrays. Face your fear and satisfy your adrenaline rush. Be one with nature and try this dive. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news of February 7, 2018. I am William Theo.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.